My call to the priesthood came when I was in first grade. I was in first grade, and Sister Dolores asked us all to write draw a picture of what we were going to be when we grew up. And I drew a picture of a priest holding the Blessed Sacrament over his head. You know, I just thought that'd be the greatest thing. But then for many years, I stayed away from God and the church and everything else. And once I was a junior in high school at a public high school. And while I was there, we were reading the play Our Town. I don't know if you ever read the play Our Town, but it's a simple play. But at the end of the story, the main character, she dies. If you haven't read the play, sorry, but she dies. And I'm sitting in English class, and I realized for the first time in my life, I was going to die someday. And to me, that's the ultimate uncontrol, right? You can't control your life and death. It's just you're going to die. And I thought, you know, I really don't believe in anything. So I start searching, and one day I'm watching TV, and as I'm watching TV, I'm seeing Billy Graham. I'm 17 years old, and this is in, 1977, and he's on television. What's a 17-year-old doing when they see Billy Graham? If you remember who Billy Graham was, the big Baptist preacher. I click the station off, because I thought, I don't want to see him. But right before I did it, he says, I've seen people die. And I go, oh, click back, what was he going to say there? And he said it again, I've seen people die. And some people, when they die, they're all afraid, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. And then he said, but when some people I've been, when they die, they have a big smile on their face, and they say, I'm coming home, Jesus. And I thought, if you could face death with no fear, that would be the greatest gift in the world. So then I would go down, I'm from Pittsburgh, and I'd go downtown Pittsburgh to the Church of the Epiphany. And I would kneel every day during my lunch hour, and I would go to the in front of the Blessed Sacrament and kneel there, and I'd say, Jesus, are you here? Aren't you here? Do you care? Don't you care? And one day as I knelt there, it took about 6-7 months. One day as I was kneeling there, I came to know that Jesus was alive. I'll never forget, as I'm kneeling there, I said, Jesus, never let me get off my knees from before you. And as I knelt there, I said, Jesus, I'll do anything you want. Tell me what you want. And it was clear as day, I heard, I want you to be a priest. And I said, okay. I didn't even tell my family. I didn't even tell anyone. And my friends, I just wrote this letter to the seminary, and I says, I want to be a priest of Jesus Christ. And it was kind of a corny letter. It says, I want to tell the world and bring the world to Jesus Christ. And the very next day, or 2 days later, I come home from work, and there in my mailbox is the exact letter I sent to the vocation director. He turned it around, and he says, I'm in town, I want to meet with you. Well, my grandmother, who I lived with, got home before me, and she saw it. And as she saw it, and she's reading it, and she goes, you didn't tell me you wanted to be a priest. I go, yeah, I want to be a priest. And I entered seminary, and I was 17 years old. And when I got ordained at 28, I was ecstatic. I was walking down the aisle so much in love with Jesus. And some priest said, you know, one day, that's going to leave you. I've been ordained almost 25 years now, and I am more excited today about being a priest than I was when I first got ordained. And the key is to spend time with Jesus. If you're thinking about, is God calling me to the priesthood? More than anything else, you got to pray. And when you pray, you got to be still, and you got to listen. And you got to give him permission. Jesus, I'll do anything you want. And then be willing to do anything. Greatest gift in the world is to be a priest of Jesus Christ. So pray about it. Ask the Lord what he's calling you to do, and do it. You'll never regret the will of God. God bless you.
For information on the priesthood or religious life, log on to www.ewtn.com/religiouslife.